I said we record all the transactions which cannot be recorded in the other journals. The ones which we just mentioned. We said all in all there are what? 8. This is the 8th one. Meaning if a transaction cannot be recorded in all the other journals, that transaction must come here. Let's think about a transaction that cannot be recorded in the other journals. Think about anything that cannot go to the CBR, cannot go to the CBP. Capital contribution in the form of what? A tangible object. An asset like a table or equipment. If you contribute equipment to the business, you can't go to the CBR because it's not what? You can only come. Like sometimes debtors don't pay you on time, or they keep promising. You end up what? Writing them off. We call them bad. They must come here because you cannot record them anyway. Like your car. You know that your car loses value. What do you call that lost value of the car? So depreciation cannot be recorded in any of those other journals. So the depreciation will come to. Okay. Now, I know for this exercise already we identified. We know the transactions which must come here. So I want you to go to that slide where we identified and start recording. Remember I said for this exercise it was very easy because we've got source documents and we know that those source documents that started with JV, remember, we decided already. It means JV stands for Journal Voucher. It's a source document for what? GJ. So we're going to record those JVs only. But I don't want you to know it as only with the JVs. I want you to read and decide. Okay? Guys, if you check my notes, guys, for me to compile those notes, I sat down, like I was relaxed. And then I made sure. If you check my notes, there's a slide where I said examples of transactions to be recorded in the GJ. I wrote them for you there. So please go and learn them. When you see them, you just know that you must come there. Please go and check them online, okay? VC them. Now, guys, you will see, I think you have seen before, sometimes, let me give you an example. This stands for what? Sometimes they can write GJ9. What does this 9 represent? Sometimes they can just write GJ1, GJ2. Remember, they will give you that code. So I want you to understand what is the meaning of this. How many months do we have in a year? So if I write GJ9, it means this is compiled under which month? September. Can you see that? That's the meaning. If they write GJ4, meaning what is the 4th month? April. Remember, I'm talking about a year that ends on the 31st of December. But sometimes, even during September, they can write GJ4. It's because not all the financial year ends on the 31st of December. It depends when did you end your year. So, in September, you can find that we have got G4. It means September in that financial year is the 4th month. Does that make sense? The reason why I'm saying this, guys, is because test number 2 still has theory. They can ask you these things. I think so far you trust me, sometimes I say things, they happen. Sometimes they don't happen, So I think you experience obviously sometimes helps. Now, and again at the same time, guys, remember it's all about the combination of the theory and the practical. Again, you must know that general is the same as what? GJ. Yes, they can ask you something like that. And at the same time, you must know what kind of transaction. If they ask you, what kind of transactions must we record in the general journal, you must know how to tell them. So that's why I gave you that theory before. Go and learn that. Even in your book, they try to show you that. There is a chapter where they explain the journals themselves. where they told you about the abbreviations, the journals themselves, what kind of transactions. Please go and read that for the theory for test number 2. Remember, theory, anything can come, guys. I think you experienced that with test number 1. You try to focus there, they went that side. We learned a lot, so you need to learn everything. Guys, write it down in capital letters. Theory, theory, theory is important. And again, how can you know the practical if you don't know if you don't know the theory? Okay? So I was just advising you guys, it's okay. Theory is your department. Let's go to the first transaction where we said GJ. Please. I don't know, you give me the date first. The first transaction where we said we are going to go to the GJ. Did you do this already? Didn't we start with this exercise before? Didn't we do this exercise before? Please be honest with me. Maybe it's the other group that we...
Oh, so was this on the Friday before the...
Yes.
I wasn't sure.
Oh, okay. I know it was before the long the long week. It's okay, away from this campus, but it's okay. Now, remember, because I don't want to waste time, go to the transactions where you see the source document with JV. I think it's slide number 4, if I'm not mistaken, 94. Are you there? Are you impressed? I know the slide number. 94 there. Can you see wherever you see JV, JV? JV is the source document for what? So meaning all the transactions must come here. But as I said, I don't want you to know it by source document. I want you to read and decide. Remember, I just said, you only come here if those other transactions cannot be recorded in the other journals. Please, someone read the first one for me. By the way, you cannot read silently. I can't hear.
J. Gooseman contributed delivery vehicle to the business. All legislative requirements have been met for the full VAT amount to be claimed.
Thank you very much. Here they say, remember, Gooseman is the owner of this business. Are we together? So Gooseman contributed what? A vehicle. And remember, we said, okay, you can check the other journals. You cannot record vehicle in the contribution of vehicle in other journals, okay? That's what we must come to. So you can even write notes. Even though I gave you notes, I gave you those notes already. But you can just write contribution of vehicles, equipment, land and building. As long as it's not cash, we'll always come to what? GJ. Write your own notes. Contribution by the owner, except in the form of cash, must come to what? GJ. The question is, what if the owner brought cash to the business? Where are we going to record that? Which journals? CB, R, or CR what? J is the same thing. Can you see now the difference? So I think now you know in the exam when they give you the contribution, ask yourself, is it cash or non-cash? Any non-cash, come here, contribution, okay? Now, for now, just give me the important information. Just give me the date of that. Which the date? What one is the date? The source document. 26. Thank you very much. So this is the first thing that we need to do. But remember, this, we need to know the account. Debit, account 2. So meaning we are going back to account equation. So based on that, I want you to give me the accounts you can identify that, like we did under account equation. What is the account, the first account you see on that transaction? Be specific. You said capital. I agree. That's the first one. The second one? Vehicles. Is there any VAT? Yes. Are we allowed to claim back VAT?
Yes, sir.
What do we call the VAT that we claim? I just had to put, which one? We can only claim. Be careful. We need to know this. Remember, this is not new, just remember. But can you see the reason why they gave you that statement of saying we can claim back VAT? It's because sometimes SARS doesn't allow us to claim back VAT on this kind of a transaction. So for this transaction, they must always tell you whether you can claim back VAT, or in future they can say we are not allowed to claim back VAT. The two accounts were supposed to be only what? Capital M. But why do we have the third one? It's because we are VAT vendors and SARS is allowing us to claim back what? VAT.
But then, see, how would we, how would we put this in, like, how would we record that on this table?
Yes, remember, each and every account is going to be recorded on its own. We have got the sites, but let's analyze first. You can see that. You will see that. Eh? Please, when I do this, if you are the member of this family, you know what I need. Help me. Owner security, help me. Asset, help me. Hesitation.
It's an asset.
It's an income.
Now you know. Write it down if you forgot. Input value is claimable. It's always an asset. Output is liability. Write it down. Okay. Guys, notes you can write them every time. Doesn't matter. Input, claimable. They are assets. To be specific, current assets. Output, liabilities. To be specific, current liability. Don't forget. Are we together? Yes. Okay, guys, remember, in a way, I'm revising test number 1. Those who are going to write test again. This account equation, you're going to find it there. But not with what? That one can be some. Now, okay, let me do this. When I do this, you know what I need.
So, wouldn't all three go up?
This goes
Up.
under which side? Guys, you must go and practice the rules. This one? Under which side? On fire. Under which side? Thank you, guys. I'm impressed. But if you're still struggling, let me know. And by giving the rules, put rules everywhere. I'm even planning to put the rules on my car. Like I'm advertising business. Huh? Any question, guys? Can you see the reason I'm slow? Because I know this one is where we lose marks, okay? So far, you okay? Now, can you see? The rule says the account or the accounts which are debited must come first.
So you start with vehicles.
I'm going to start with what?
Vehicles.
Vehicles is the first one. Is it the only account that is debited? I must also put what? Can you see I put them in line because they are all debited?
So they're on the same line. So they're on the same line.
Yes. Obviously, I'm going to create the other one. I'm going to create what?
Yeah.
So, I must not put it in line. I must show that I'm going to record on there. So, I must, don't have to use the ruler. I'm just saying use your eyes, eh? And write what? Can you see how do we record them? It is going to the credit. These ones are going to the. Can you see? When I record, I'm going to come here. Are we together? No problem, we're still coming. Okay, let's talk about the folio. I told about the folios before, remember? We were on fire. Please tell me, what is this? General ledger accounts folios is either man, you remember? Or, yes, nominal account or balance sheet account. This one? What is this to us? Assets fall under? Balance sheet. I'm going to have what? B? Because the first one that I recorded doesn't matter. Input? B2, because it's also an asset. What is this?
B3.
Write it again. Under balance sheet, you only have assets or assets, owner's equities, and liabilities. I'm going to repeat myself. under the balance sheet section, balance sheet, not sheet, you only have the following: assets, owner's equities, and liabilities. That's why here I've got B, because they are falling in those groups. So if there were incomes or expenses, you will see N, meaning nominal account section.
So it's basically whatever doesn't fall on the accounting page.
Perfect. So now take what? N. Are we together? No problem. Can I move on? Now we know. Now, the next step that I want us to check, guys, I want us to decide out of the three, which account is the main account. Let me give you an example, like I said before. If someone comes in now and asks us a question now and say, in this class, who is the main guy in this class? Obviously, me. I'm the main guy. Okay. Out of this, which one do you think is the main account, the biggest of them all? Capital. I like this. Why must I know this? Is because the main account must take the whole amount, including VAT. Are we together? The main account will claim the amount, including VAT. Check the amount of capital given to you there. How much is it, contribution?
77,622.50.
Is that including VAT or excluding VAT? We are VAT vendors, by the way.
So
It's including VAT. So meaning the amount for capital will be the one that is given there because it is including VAT. Give it to me again.
77,622.50.
Can you see now? It is including VAT. And now,
Half in a car. Not about 50 cents.
come again.
They would never sell a car for 50 cents. So.
Sometimes that extra 50 cents will join other 50 cents, and those other 50 cents will make us have millions. That's why sometimes they say every cent counts. Okay, you know how to calculate VAT here? VAT is included. You times this by what? 15 over 115, because VAT is included. How much?
101, so it's 101.24, 46.7.
Perfect. Can you see now? Guys, calculation of VAT, I trust you. Even though when it comes to the test, it was okay, but no problem. Remember, because this amount is including VAT, we said this amount times 15 over 115, because VAT is included. This is the VAT. You can easily find this one. The difference between the two. So what is the difference? You take this minus this. Amount including VAT less VAT amount.
It's 67,497. Should we round up the cents?
Yeah, 2,
8,83.
8, 3. Thank you very much. So obviously when you add the 2, you must go back to that. So now we are ready for action. We are ready to go there.
You just put it in, so
Yeah, just put the relevant side. Okay. For vehicle, how much is the vehicle amount?
101.
Can you see now? Under which side? Debit side. 10124. Wait. Can you see? Just like that. And show calculations, guys. Even if you are wrong, we can give you method mark. Input VAT under which side? Which is 67. And obviously capital under which side? This one. Just like that. But as you can see, the main work is here. Huh? This must be correct for you to be correct there. And don't memorize, just analyze first. And you got it. But in the future, you won't have to do this, guys. You're going to go direct. Like, if you ask a man of my caliber, let's say it's 12 midnight, I'm sleeping, you say, Sylvester, transition on the 12. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to come and write there. Experience, no? You can't buy experience. So, it's a process. Now, they can ask you for something called narrations. Meaning, after writing this, they can say, in brackets, for example. Here, in brackets, just a brief description of what happened. So that if you give this book to someone who was not there, can understand what happened. In a nutshell, we must just summarize the transaction there. What can you say in short? What happened here? In short. Okay, you can say owner's contribution. Eh? And then I think it's enough. Maybe of what? Vehicle. Anything that makes sense, there's no formula. Because you don't summarize the same. Sometimes when you tell people to summarize, they don't summarize. They copy the whole thing again. Huh? For them it's a summary. But the question is, you can't fit it here. So just summarize. It must make sense. Don't just say contribution for what? Is it a donation? Eh? So you must be owner's contribution of what? Of vehicle. So we call this what? A narration. It's a narration. So in the exam, if they don't tell you to ignore narrations, you must just write them because you don't know whether we mark or not, okay? But when they say ignore, don't write them. Because sometimes they say ignore. It means you can leave them.
So you get marks for like
For this one? Yeah, 1 mark. Just imagine, let's say you know nothing. I'm not talking about you.
Of course not.
Yeah, I know, that's obvious. Let's say this is wrong. At least 1 mark, my brother.
Yeah.
You avoid 0. In accounting, you must not get 0. You get 0 in accounting, I'm telling you, I take you to ICU. There's something wrong. Remember, we add wrong figures correctly. We get a mark. You take an effort to add wrong figures correctly. You deserve a mark. Not everyone can add wrong figures. Guys, that was the 12. No, as long as you got it here, guys, I'm happy. Any question? Any question, guys?